Hey folks, how you doing out there? Drinking a wink? And I thought I'd come at you today as we're getting close to St. Patrick's Day, and I'm going to do a couple of Irish whiskey features. I've done these before, but we're going to kind of break them into two categories. Upcoming will be a category on some of my favorite, or at least the ones that we own, single or copper pot still Irish whiskeys, which is a different classification. We'll talk about that next time. But for now, we're going to talk about some good kind of basic blended Irish whiskeys. And I'm going to kind of joke around because I've seen a lot of ads for Conor McGregor's Proper 12 and his new Apple, Proper 12 Apple. And I'm not going to say not to buy Proper 12. I'm just going to say buy anything else. All right. I think I've had it, I think I might have tried it out somewhere and it was not good. Okay. The UFC fighter, he doesn't even really get along, from what I understand, with the other people that are in this company, much less fighting other people. So, but that's not the judgment I'm going to make. I'm going to make the judgment that I have never read a good review from anyone on that Proper 12 and that Conor McGregor Irish whiskey that is not like a retailer. Retailers do not put up bad reviews. They're going to write something that's going to be from the company and all that. So anyway, I don't want to get too into that. But we're going to talk about some Irish whiskeys today. In the lower classification. Now, when we're talking about Proper 12, we're talking about $25, that range, $25, $26. Sometimes it's cheaper. So now I think it is a little bit cheaper. Now I think that the regular one is going down in price, but it's jumped up and down. That's what we're talking about. Talk about Irish whiskey. We do need to understand that if there's no classification, if it just says Irish whiskey, we can say that without a doubt that it is going to be a blend of. It could be malted barley, it could be barley, it could be corn, it could be maize, which I know is similar. It could be any number of grains that are going into that Irish whiskey. Just like Scotch, but Irish whiskey, they don't have to say blended, but that's what it is. The other classifications that you're going to see would be the more popular copper pot still, or single pot still, all those different classifications. That's a special classification in Ireland, where they are using malted barley and unmalted barley, putting it together to make that special blend. We're going to talk about that soon. Those are your red breasts, and Teeling has a pot still Irish whiskey. Powers, John's Lane, and Three Swallows is that classification. Another classification is a single malt Irish whiskey, which is exactly what it is. It's the same as a single malt Scotch whiskey. It's 100% malted barley in there. Okay, I actually going to talk about one of those today, but in a future episode, I'm going to talk more about copper pot still and single malt Irish whiskey. For today, we're looking for something for our St. Patrick's Day party or something in that nature. All right, let's go through this. I got 5 of them here. The first one we have to bring up is Jameson. Okay, Jameson has been around forever. It's what the Donovan family drinks when they're saluting someone or someone's passing on the Ray Donovan show. It's all about that kind of thing. All right, you can't really know anything about Ireland if you don't know Jameson. Okay, and for what it does. It's okay. I don't know that I would ever drink this neat, but put a cube in there, use it for some different kinds of Irish whiskey drinks. It's a good shot. I did pour that today. I poured 2 of the 5 I'm going to bring you today, but I've recently had all 5 of these at some time, so I kind of did my research. I've also been coming down. I'm coming back from a very long cold or flu. It's been going on forever. And you know what? I need to drown my sorrows a little bit today. It's a lot of conversations with college music administration. And I'll tell you what, some of you I like talking to. Hey, Greg. And some of you I don't. Even though I know we're all in it together. Oh, boy. It's always fun. I'd rather just sit back and play drums and drink a little whiskey. Luckily, that's what I have to do after I get tomorrow and Thursday out of the way. That's what I have all weekend. Get back to that in a second. So, just to show you, I have one other one here I won't even mention, and you can see this is Jameson on the right, this is the other one on the left. Actually, this is Sexton over here on your right. Okay, that here you can see it's a little darker, and this is a little paler. Okay, that's because it's not aged very long, and yeah, it's just different grains. There's going to be a lot of corn in there. I'm going to drink a little bit of this. On the nose, there's a little bit of this astringency that sometimes you'll get with less expensive Irish whiskeys. But there's a little bit of honey, grain, kind of hay or heather. All of these are going to be bottled at 40%, the lowest it can be bottled. Pretty good. Actually, the taste is somewhat bland with some but it has some little bit of wafers, a little bit of citrus. But then in the mid palate to the finish, it really gets this. It really hits you with this kind of grainy feeling. That again, Jameson is cheap. I think I took the prices down. Jameson right now is like $19. It's under $20. I'm always going to have one in my bar, you know, for some drinks or maybe an Irish coffee or something like that. I like it. It's nothing great to me. And at 40%, and it has a little bit of kind of a pale finish, a little bit of graininess. It's not going to be my first pick ever, but I'm always going to have one because it just pays to have one. If you really need to stick with the Jameson, spend a little more money, get the Black Barrel, which is a charred barrel second aging, really good. I'm a big fan of that, and I do own that. Actually, that's another one that I always keep around. A little bit of butter on that, on the Jameson. It's all good to go. Okay, the second one I'm going to talk about is kind of like a newer, I mean, it's been around for a long time, but the newer kind of, they really made a jump in the industry. And that is Tullamore Dew. Tullamore Dew is a little unique, is that it's a blended Irish whiskey, and it's a blend of all three Irish types, golden grain, pot still, and malt. Okay, so that's unique. The other thing I know is that finishing-wise, there's a little bit of a hint of a sherry note on this. So, yes, there's a blend of I don't know, I can't read this because my glasses again are for many years in Oloroso sherry cask and Old X bourbon oak casks. Okay, so there is a little bit of a sherry note to this. You can see that the color is a little bit more red, and because of that, that might turn you off, or it might make you really enjoy it. I enjoy it because it does take a little bit of that graininess away from Irish whiskey. And the most interesting about this kind of feels a little thicker, and it has a little nicer mouthfeel than Jameson because of that sherry note. Okay, I absolutely, I'll run out and I won't worry if I don't have Jameson around. But Tullamore Dew has been my favorite, and they also have a very flavorful and relatively inexpensive rum cask finish. I think it's called XO. I can't remember exactly what it's called, but something of that nature. And then they also, if you really need to get some kind of apple, they have an apple cider variation. It used to be just in the travel market, but that's available too. They also have a 12-year-old, which I used to drink over at Pete Miller's, and for some reason I've never bought it. I really like that. Pete Miller's was a club in Evanston where they had Tullamore Dew 12, and it was really good. I walk in front of it almost every day when I go to the grocery store, and I've never bought it. But I love Tullamore Dew, straight up. Right, Michelle? Yeah. Tullamore Dew just works, right? And for Irish coffees, this one is really my favorite, and that's where the Irish coffee was supposedly invented. I can't remember the name of the hotel. This is their choice. So it's always a good one to have. I really enjoy it. Tullamore Dew right now is $23.99, and the apple cider is $30. That's just my market here in Chicago. Okay, the next one I'm going to talk about is probably the newest one, and that is Slane. Slane is actually it's a new distillery. It is actually I don't know if it's all being distilled. I don't know if they're doing production or just being bottled. But the location, Slane Distillery, is on Slane Castle. Okay, my friend Peter Hussey mentioned this, and I had always wanted to buy it, and I didn't, but I did, and I really like this one. Matter of fact, it's going to be a little off because the glass still has some. You know what? There we go. Leave it there. The cat will get it. We don't have a cat anymore. That was a Honeymooners reference. But Slane is very similar to the next one I'm going to show you, in that it does seem to have a little bit of a sherry hint, and if it doesn't, I might be way off. This has a darker feel, and if you're coming from the bourbon side, I get a lot of corn in this, which I don't normally like in Irish whiskey, but this definitely has a heavy amount of corn in there. So this has kind of a bourbon note to it. It's dark, it's buttery, it is a little grainy, but it does have this kind of warmth on it, and the finish is much more interesting, or darker and more woody than Jameson and or Tullamore Dew. I have not had Tullamore Dew tonight. So I had Jameson in this glass, I emptied it, put a little Slane in there, and I like this. As a matter of fact, this has really kind of become my favorite in that it's, I would say, if you were going to look and buy a bottle of Proper 12 and you see this, just go with this. This is the same price. It's about 24 bucks. Really nice. It's just very flavorful. So much so that I don't know that this would be my choice for an Irish whiskey, but it would really taste good in some more cocktails that use Irish whiskey, and perhaps even if you were trying to substitute on a Rob Roy, which is the I always get this wrong, the Scotch version of a Manhattan. You could use this as your bourbon substitute in Manhattan. I think it would be colorful enough, meaning just it feels like it has some fruit flavors in there. So I'll take another sip of that. Yeah, there's just more of a darker, older oak cask on this one, and obviously, honestly, other than the Sexton, which I'm going to talk about. This bottle was the second one that's been opened. These other 2 bottles I'm talking about are open quite a bit of time, and we know that sometimes that'll kind of make things fade a little bit. All right, number 4 is an old favorite. I've talked about this many times. This is the Sexton Single Malt, okay? What's not to like about this, right? Wonderful bottle. The Sexton has this. Sexton, I guess, is the in old cemeteries is the not the undertaker so much as the person that drives a little buggy that you would see in TV show or old timey TV shows. The Sexton is really nice. Strains of barley for malting. They do this in copper pot stills, but this is not a pot still whiskey, meaning that they're blending malted barley and barley. I don't know if there is just malted, whatever. So it's still in copper pot. It's beautiful flavor. And I've given this to friends. Everyone likes this. It's really cool. It's nice because on your collection, this squat bottle kind of fits in, and you don't see it. If you don't see it in your local liquor store, I like to say, the only thing about this is it's great. You've seen a lot of marketing. This product has grown, been very successful. I like to say that I was maybe part of that because I was talking about Sexton way before you were seeing ads for it on TV. I think there was one even on the Super Bowl, if not the Super Bowl, one of the award ceremonies recently. This is also made, it's not designated as such, but it's made in exactly the same town in Ireland that the Bushmills distillery is. So this might be kind of a Bushmills plus or a high-end brand for this. The only thing about this that I'm going to say, a single malt, by the way. So again, this is all malted barley, and boy, it's really, I think I confused that. Sorry, this is a single malt, not a pot still, but it is distilled in a copper pot. So to explain that one more time, it's a single malt, meaning it's all 100% malted barley. One thing about this, we were buying this, remember Michelle, Sexton was like $26.99, sometimes even less, right? I've noticed that, again, they are becoming popular. So it's kind of our price range now is that now I see not on sale. It's now kind of crept up to $32.99. I'll be honest with you. I would still say it's worth it. Okay, it's a nice little go between that and some higher end products that we're going to talk about in our next meeting. But definitely, if you want to try something interesting, there's a little bit of kind of a sherry note on this. Actually, I didn't drink it yet. Did have some of this poured. Definitely, I could definitely get that this has a little. This is more of a single malt. That it does have kind of a vibe, more of Scotch than Irish whiskey, but this is really good. Again, this is one of these that has enough character and it doesn't have a whole lot of grain. It's pretty heavy. That I don't know that I would use it for my favorite Irish coffee, but it's very delicious, and I would recommend this one. This is another one that we have all the time. Like I said, I've given it away. Given this one away a lot. It's just really good. What you got to do is you got to look around in your liquor store, and you got to look low. And a lot of people, well, I guess more people are buying it now, or they would jack the price up. But what's funny is this little bottle collects dust more than any other bottle, so it might even look dusty. So there you go. You can buy a dusty. Finally, in this range, I'm going to talk about one that's a little harder to find, but I'm going to recommend. I started drinking this one because I was keyed in that the Kilbeggan single pot still Irish whiskey was a limited release. I bought this. It is not the one I'm going to rub it. A long time ago. And this at 43% at a reasonable price. And this is kind of a special old school thing where they make this single pot Irish whiskey. As I said, it's malted barley to unmalted barley. And in this, there's an old tradition of, and it's approved, that you try and use essentially 2.5 oats in the mash of this. Okay. Again, I don't know why I'm talking about this because I'm going to talk about this in the next one coming up. But then after I bought that and enjoyed that, I just went ahead and bought myself some Kilbeggan, just their regular traditional Irish whiskey. I was not blown away by it, but I bought this probably a year ago. I don't even drink Irish whiskey that much, but just for Irish coffees and things like that, and just having, drinking. This bottle is getting low. I don't know if I want to have another taste of it. You know what? I will, but I don't want to. Let me get a fresh cup over here. I don't want to change up the. That was Sexton. Again, Sexton is the most like single malt Scotch. So if that's the way you're going, and I'll wrap that up. Kilbeggan. I would say this is the closest to Jameson. Wouldn't be my first choice, but it has a little bit of a delicacy. It's pretty grainy. I guess the only thing I would say that would maybe pull this out a little bit is there's some nuttiness on this one, and a little bit of lemon. So there's a little more citrus on this one. So that's my number 5, Kilbeggan. It's a small company. It's really nice. I'm starting to like that more. Okay, ported by Kilbeggan Distillery, so there's not a separate importer to bring this in. Small company. You might not see it, but I would recommend this. And if you're out and about and you see this limited edition single pot still, I would buy it. So as you can see, I'm holding back on that. It's beautiful. So to wrap this up, 5 Irish whiskeys and kind of a lower price tags, close to the price tag of Proper 12 that I would drink instead of Proper 12 and buy. Like I said, I don't have anything against it. It's just not a high quality product. I will say this. There are 2 whiskeys all across the board that I have read reviews on, and I would say I would stay away from based on the reviews. Meaning, I've never seen a good review on it. One would be the Auchentoshan American Oak, which I did own for some odd reason. I bought it; it was really cheap, and I bought it. It was on sale, so I tried to get rid of it. I couldn't stand it; got rid of it. There's maybe a little bit of it in my infinity bottle over there. And the second one is Proper 12. Okay, matter of fact, one of my favorite whiskey podcasters, Mark from the Whiskey Cast, he seldom will put something on and give it a bad review. He just reviews good whiskey. While I talked about bad whiskey, he gave Proper 12 a bad review. All right, and it's kind of a butt of a joke. So if you're looking right down the middle, drown your sorrows, kind of Irish whiskey. Jameson, of course, is great. You can use that in mixed drinks. I would recommend, if I had a choice between the 2, very similar prices, I would now go with Tullamore Dew. And again, also look for their XO rum cask finish and the apple cider cask. I'm trying to remember if there's another one, but both were good. The apple cider cask was, both of those, what's nice about those is the influence isn't crazy. You're still drinking Irish whiskey, but it tastes really good. I would bet that the apple, if the Proper 12 apple is anything like Crown Royal's apple, which I think we've now just thrown away because I bought it on a lark. You don't want that either. All right, so we got our two main ones, kind of go-tos, Jameson, Tullamore Dew. If you're looking for something that's a little more reminiscent of Scotch, right, go for the Sexton, okay? A little more money, but it's a single malt. I really like it. If you're going for something that maybe you're a bourbon fan, you want to try some Irish whiskey, try the Slane. It's young, but it feels pretty good quality. And now that I've had all but one, because I know what this one... No, I guess did I have a little sip of all of them? I didn't have a little sip of the Sexton because I had so much of it over the years that I know what it tastes like. No, I did. Okay, I drink everyone. Oh, Michelle, I think I'm having... No, I didn't drink Slane. No, I did. I drank all of them. Oh, no, I didn't drink... No, wait. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm having an issue here. Michelle, shut up when she's laughing. I didn't have Tullamore Dew. That's the one I didn't have. Okay, good. All right. That one I've been having forever. Slane, if you're a bourbon fan, I think you would like this one a little more because I can really taste the kind of corn, but it has a nice little heavy weight. And at $24, this is a good one. All right, and I see this everywhere. Slane. Okay. Finally, I brought kind of a dark horse that you might not have heard of, but if you haven't heard of Kilbeggan, give it a try. Like I say, this traditional Irish whiskey, just a regular bottling, is pretty basic. I can't say that I'm going to recommend it better than a proper 12, but if you don't judge the entire distillery on this bottling. But it's still good and it has its place. The other thing I was going to say about this, I guess it's important here, or just a little bit more of this, is that there's a little bit, sometimes you'll get this ethanol note on Irish whiskey, and sometimes that's nasty. And sometimes that ethanol note can taste a little, yes, hopsy. Now, of course, we know about Guinness and all that kind of stuff, but there is something about this one in particular that has a little bit of a hopsy taste, or almost like, kind of like, it's tasting a little beer-esque, okay? So, there you go. And if you're going to do what's the drink where you have a beer and drop a shot glass of Irish whiskey in there? Why don't you just drink all the whiskey? Make it all whiskey. What is that drink? We were just hearing about it. Whatever. That's it. I'm going to finish up here. The one thing is I did have a lot of this stuff just tasting right now, but it's all at 40%, so I'm going to be cool. I have some dinner with Michelle. Michelle has a special day tomorrow. She's turning 21, so she can finally drink legally, all the stuff that we have over here. Okay, you're not on camera. You want me to turn that around?
No.
Okay, she just did a dance that I would not want. That wouldn't be appropriate for any age, 21 or 50.
Tell them the real age. I'm tired of hiding in the shadows.
Michelle's having her 50th birthday tomorrow. Okay. Do you want me to? Okay. Do you need some Irish whiskey to drown your sorrows, or to kill the pain? Which one do you need? Anyway, upcoming time, my next one before St. Patrick's Day, I'm going to talk about the kind of fancier single copper pot, single pot still Irish whiskey, and we'll get into that kind of stuff. You know, we'll talk about Redbreast, we'll talk about the Teeling variety, we'll talk about the Glendalough variety. We'll talk about Powers, although I do not have the John's Lane, which is a favorite. I have the Three Swallows. Maybe something else. And finally, we are getting around that time where our this rock band that we play with every once in a while, called Cast Iron Skillet, is performing in 2 places. So if you are in those areas, let's talk about it. Friday, that band, Cast Iron Skillet, Friday the... I'm losing my time. 10th, right? The 10th, we're at the Black Barrel Tavern and Restaurant and all that good stuff in Old Town, not the downtown one, but the Old Town one. You can check that out. And the band is called Cast Iron Skillet. You can check them out on Facebook. And then we are playing in our annual once-a-year gig in Sycamore, Illinois, PJ's Courthouse. This is going to be a big one. Play there every time, so we're going to go out there and have a bunch of... That's on Saturday night. I'll be out there till who knows what hour, and then Sunday I actually have church. So I'm going to have to take it easy and get home relatively healthy. So if you're interested in those kinds of gigs, that'd be great. Check it out. It's going to be a lot of fun. And yeah, come see us. We're heading out there. I don't know if we get out early enough on Saturday. Maybe we'll see if there's anything going on at Whiskey Acres, right?
Oh, okay.
Maybe we'll go there. It depends on when we want to get out of here. We'll see. If there's something up, maybe we'll get out there, right?
Sure.
Okay, Whiskey Acres, as you know, is the kind of very surprisingly. No, why surprisingly, man? Why does Kentucky have to do everything? One of the best. I'm going to say the best distillery in Illinois right now, Whiskey Acres. We might check that out. It's just on the other side of the highway, on the Peace Road exit. We might get out there before we go to our gig in Sycamore, Illinois. All right, folks, I'm done and dusted. Sorry, I kind of went a little long on that one, but when you're talking Irish whiskey, right, you gotta be thorough, right? Right?
Right.
And yeah, today, like I said, I'm not sorrowful, but man, talking. I'm not Irish, so just talking and talking forever. Boy, it's what? What?
What?
Right. Wait, when are the Oscars? Am I going to talk to them for the Oscars? The Oscars are this
The Oscars are on Sunday.
Sunday.
Yeah.
All right. There you go. I'm going to bring another reference, right? Who do we want to win? What movie do we want to win?
I don't know.
Wait, where's the camera? We only saw one movie,
No, yeah.
and that was
Oh. the Banshees of Inisherin?
Banshees of Inisherin.
Inisherin.
Let's hope they win. So, I almost said the Temples of Inisherin. And then that went to Rush and Temples of Syrinx, which has nothing to do with Irish. I don't know what I'm doing.
All over the place.
Huh?
All over the place. Have you
Banshees of